Hello Star Wars and Unboxing fans, welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host Darth Tuba. Well, it's been kind of a topsy-turvy couple of weeks. I haven't really been putting out episodes quite as often, and if you've been following the channel you might know why. I have been away. My family and I were in Walt Disney World for actually an extended period of time, which is a story which I'd like to share. First of all, we were there from around July 7th. We were supposed to come back around the 22nd. I think that was the date. And on that day, we went to go to the airport, and our flight was canceled due to bad weather up and down the East Coast. So we had booked another flight the next day, but we didn't really feel like sleeping in an airport, so we went back to Disney for a night and booked another stay, one more night in one of their value resorts. And then the next morning we were up really early, I think around 4 a.m. to get their Magical Express transportation back to the airport. We go back, and we had to take a flight down to Fort Lauderdale before coming up the coast to Newark. Well, we took the flight to Fort Lauderdale, and as soon as we landed in Fort Lauderdale and turned our phones off of airplane mode, I got the notification that the flight up to Newark had been canceled again. So we were stuck there in Fort Lauderdale. And the weather wasn't looking too great for the rest of the week, so we just ultimately made the decision we rented a car, drove back to Orlando, which is a 3-hour drive, and then checked in to the Disney hotels one more time, but this time we stayed a few more days. We stayed until Thursday, and were able to get a flight home on Thursday. So it was an adventure. It was a little weird because we do our Disney trip. We do it every year, but we're used to it being a certain length. We get to a certain point, and we're ready. We kind of start going into the parks one last time for each of the parks. And then we like Hollywood Studios. It's got the Star Wars area in it. Big surprise. And we left it that night, and then the next day this whole fiasco started, and we ended up going back into the parks a few more days. So it was a little bit strange. We had a great time. It was just, but by those last few days, we really just wanted to be home. We love going on vacation, but we love being home as well. So finally we're back, and the Wi-Fi in Disney, anybody who's been there can tell you, can be a little spotty. So I didn't get a lot of videos uploaded. I got one uploaded, and I was able to produce one while I was there, but I just used the footage from there. So that was, I think, the last upload was basically highlights in Walt Disney World, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, follow up with today. Disney is doing a great job of keeping plenty of Star Wars in the park in one format or another, while they're building Galaxy's Edge Black Spire Outpost, which is going to be their totally immersive environment located inside of Disney's Hollywood Studios, along with another one being built in Disneyland. But we're still about 18 months or so away from that. So they have a whole bunch of things that they do, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, and I gave you some footage of it in the last one. We had the March of the First Order, which is basically just Captain Phasma and a squad of First Order stormtroopers marching through the park. For something that's so simple, it is very fun to watch. There's a little bit of dialogue. The troopers kind of get in your face and are scanning everybody. It's pretty interesting. It's a lot of fun. And then that's like every hour, and then every half hour beyond that, in between that, they have a thing called the Galaxy Far, Far Away, which is basically just like a live presentation that lasts about 10 minutes, and it has video clips and whatnot, and characters come out on stage. And but it's nice to go. Every year they seem to add new things to it. They had stuff in there about Solo, about The Last Jedi, so it was kind of nice. Then there's, of course, the Launch Bay, which is a place where you can go in and view props or prop replicas from all the movies. You can meet Chewbacca, Kylo Ren, BB-8. You can see a really cool film. Basically, it's all about what's coming in the future for Star Wars. They interview some of the more recent directors like Rian Johnson, Ron Howard, and but along with that, they're talking to Dave Filoni about the Clone Wars and Rebels and Star Wars Resistance, which is a new cartoon coming out. They talked with Ashley Eckstein about her universe. They even brought up another person who's doing a documentary called "Looking for Leia," about women in Star Wars fandom. So there's really cool things to see coming down the pike, and it updates. We go to the parks usually twice a year, and that film has been at least somewhat different every 6 months or so. So it's something to do repeat visits. And of course, there's merchandise, which ties into this. One other thing that we did, I'll come to this in a second, one other thing we did was the Galactic Spectacular, which is like a fireworks event that happens every night at Hollywood Studios. But it's not just fireworks, it's fireworks in a video projection on the Chinese theater replica. And we took part in what was called, and this is the second time, or maybe the third time we've done it, called the Dessert Party. And we basically went into a private area in the lunch bay, and there were unlimited desserts, along with like veggie trays and hummus and pita chips. If you're not into, for people that weren't, didn't want to overfill on sweets, there was mixed drinks, there were alcoholic, non-alcoholic drinks, all sorts of great treats, unlimited, and at the end you received a complimentary Captain Phasma Stein, okay, that like they sell in the park. It was awesome. And the stormtroopers, the First Order stormtroopers, walk around and they interact with the people there, and then they escort you to essentially the front of the entire place, and you watch the show, and it is immersive. The fireworks are all around you, in front of you, above you. It's crazy, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. It is a hard ticketed price, an extra. You can just watch the fireworks from anywhere else in the park. It's no big deal, but the extra event is really worth it. But come hungry. Don't go to that thing not hungry. Don't eat a big meal beforehand. We filled up on the hummus dip and the veggie tray and stuff like that ahead of time, beforehand, as we were starting it, because we didn't want to overdo it on desserts. That can be a little bit of a health issue, especially for people with any kind of diabetes or anything of that nature, or any other, dietary restrictions. But they kind of take that into consideration. So go do it. It's a lot of fun, and I think it's worth the price. And as I said, there was tons of merchandise. So I decided to do what I've seen a lot of other YouTubers doing, called "What's in my bag?" What's in my Disney bag? And that's what I have here. I have my Disney bag. Now, a lot of people do "What's in my bag?" like, what am I packing to take to Disney? I'm kind of doing a reverse on it. What's in my Disney bag coming back from Disney? So this is a bag full of some of the items that I purchased and took with me from Disney. There are other things that I've ordered that I oftentimes, if it's really big, or not really big, even bigger than just that could fit in this bag, I will ship them home. I don't mind. I mean, as an annual pass holder, I get a discount, and the discount pretty much covers the difference of shipping it. So I just do that because it's worth not having the headache. It's insured in case it gets lost. They'll send you another one. So I highly recommend that, especially if it's big or if it's fragile. So keep that in mind if you're doing that. All Disney stores will ship right from the store. They will you fill out a form and they will ship it. You'll take it with you right there and then and there, and they will ship it home. It's a great service. They'll also ship it, or they'll also transport it to the front of the park. If you're going to stay in the park that day, and then at the end of the day, on your way out, you can grab it. Or if you're going to be in the park, the resort, if you're staying in a Walt Disney World Resort, they will, for free, send it to the room, or send it to at least your gift shop in the room, in your hotel, and you can retrieve it there. But for that, you have to make sure that you're doing it a few days, you're purchasing stuff a few days before you leave, because it usually takes a day or two for it to get to your resort. So some cool things. But let's talk about what's in my bag. All right. So I try to do a little bit with collecting, try to get some stuff, exclusive to the parks, try to get some stuff that's maybe things I've been looking for elsewhere. So it's kind of a mixture of everything. So let me take everything out first. First, let me talk about my Captain Phasma. My Captain Phasma Stein. Okay, it's a plastic Stein, but it's really cool. Chrome plating, I think they had. I don't recall Captain Phasma being one you can buy in the parks right now. I've seen Darth Vader, and there's a BB-8 sipper. It's got a straw in it. But I have not seen Captain Phasma. It's not saying that Captain Phasma might not have been there, or maybe this is exclusive to the Galactic Dessert Party. I don't know. but Captain Phasma, really good. I love these. I love collecting some, I even collect some non-Star Wars related Disney popcorn buckets and sipper cups and drink cups, just because they're unique and they're something that not everybody has. You can only get them in the parks, so it's something unique and interesting. I also, one year they gave us a Chewbacca mug stein kind of thing, and again, you can drink out of it like this, or you can use it to put, pencils in or whatever. So it's kind of a fun thing. So we'll leave her right there. All right, and then we have, I'll take everything else out. We've got some Funko Pops. I saw these for the first time in Disney. I know they're probably available everywhere, but again, I got a discount that made these actually a little cheaper getting them in Disney, which is a rarity. But with the discount, you do save a few bucks if you have it. If you have an annual pass, or if you're a Disney Vacation Club member, most of the stores will give you 20%. So we have L337. We have Enfys Nest, and my personal favorite, we have Tobias Beckett as dressed as an Imperial soldier, which I thought was great. Okay. In addition to that, we got two more Tsum Tsums. These I actually got. We got Aayla Secura and Emperor's Royal Guard. I actually got these. I went off-site, meaning off Disney property, to the Disney Character Warehouse. This is really, really good information if you're going to be down in Disney, especially if you are going to be traveling on your own with a car, or if you don't mind using a ride-sharing or taxi service. There is a place about a 15-minute drive from the resorts in Walt Disney World. It's basically an outlet center, and it's off Disney property, but there is a Disney place called the Disney Character Warehouse. I believe there's actually two. The one I went to is in one of the shopping centers, but it works for both. They have seriously discounted Disney merchandise, stuff that was once in the parks that is now, older merchandise that they're trying to unload. But there's some really, really great stuff that you can get there. In fact, I theorize that if any of you have seen these subscription services like Mickey Monthly, some subscription box services like Walt's Life, or things people send you, you pay a subscription price and they send you items. I think in some instances they're sending you discounted merchandise just because they can get more for their buck, and you in turn get more for the money that you gave. You might spend $25, but you might get $50 or even $75 worth of merchandise, because these character warehouses are incredible. The discounts are amazing. Shirts that were essentially, I got a collared golf shirt that was essentially a $45 shirt I got for $20, so it's greater than 50% off. There are all sorts of articles of clothing, especially for one-off events like the Disney Cruise, Star Wars Day at Sea, or marathon day weekends. If they have any merchandise for those, they're dated. So once those things take place, boom, they are now obsolete. So but they sell them for dirt cheap. So you can find. I think these things were 50 cents each or $1 each. So really, really great. And if you're staying in Disney property and you have your Magic Band, which I don't have on right now, of course, but if you have your Magic Band that you're charging to your room, you can actually use it there and charge to the room. So these guys are cute. I think they're kind of getting, fading these out. I've always liked them. I don't have to collect them all, but I love that. One thing I like about these is on the bottom there are kind of padding that would work for cleaning, touch screens and for your iPhone, your iPad, that type of thing. So love me some of these guys. And then the only other thing I have in my bag are two more Rogue One, because Rogue One is an older film now. So Rogue One Funko Pops, or not Funko Pops, Disney Vinylmation. So that was what's in my Disney bag for the most part. There are a few items that I am waiting on that are coming in the mail, but I wanted to do an episode with these. So why don't we get these started? You'll see that these boxes are a little damaged. I did that for two reasons. One, because I had every intention of unboxing them. I didn't worry so much about packing them in my suitcase. If I wanted to keep them in the box, I probably would have carried them as a carry-on, but I do not keep these boxes. So again, Funko Pop, Enfys Nest. I think this is, I want to say this is like the next series. I'm not 100% sure of that, but nonetheless, We have L, and she's just, I like this one. Some of the bobbles don't bobble very well, but this one is a good bobbler. I can show you being nervous, but it seems like L3 would be nervous. I mean, she seems very proud, but anyway, I like that. So why don't we do? Oh, I gotta get through the other ones here. Let's do Emphy's Nest. Very excited about Solo coming out on Blu-ray in September. I started. Let me just get this out of the way. What I've started doing when it comes to now that Star Wars video releases, or sorry, I should say, movie in-home viewing releases, work in the following way. They are essentially, you are receiving. You can get a digital version first, and then about 2 weeks later, you can receive the Blu-ray. The problem is that the Blu-ray usually, almost always comes with it's like a 3-pack. It's a Blu-ray, it's a DVD pack, and it's a digital release. So I finally learned to hold back, be patient, and wait for the Blu-ray. Okay, I usually pre-order it and get it through either Target or Amazon, depending on what the offers are, the prices are. And then you get I barely look at the Blu-ray unless there's a special feature on the Blu-ray only. I just do the digital download. But I like having the hard copies in case I want to show it where I work in school, or more importantly than that, I just like getting the code and being able to download it that way, and then have the hard copy in case I want to look at it that way. And again, like I said, for the purposes of the bonus features. Sometimes the bonus features is ones that are exclusive to the discs. So that's how we do that. But Emphy's Nest, another good bobbler in this case. I wish that you can do one where the head came off, and you can see who Emphy's Nest is, I think that'd be cool. But really nice detail on the front. And I've also noticed that these characters are permanently affixed to the bases, which I like. I think that that's something that either has come and gone. I'm not a Funko Pop expert, but I know that some of my figures, they come off the bases easily. These seem to be permanently glued. So, and we get to my favorite, Tobias Beckett as an Imperial officer. I always thought that was a really cool part of the story. Oops. Which I love, and if you look closely, you'll even see that if you can't really see it, I'll try to get a close-up in the footage, in the photos. He even has a gunshot. I think it's a gunshot. It looks like a gun, like a pothole, like right here, which I think is hysterical because obviously he's not really an Imperial soldier. He took it off of a dead one, and he is posing as one to do a job, which is awesome, and a seriously awesome character. Again, kind of like, I feel like these two, especially L3 and Tobias, are kind of like that same level of awesomeness that you had in Rogue One, with characters that, you don't have to create a character that was going to be around forever. Okay, they could have a one-off life. There's always the opportunity in other media to perhaps tell other stories with them, but they obviously had, spoiler alert, a definitive end in Solo, a Star Wars story. Or I guess you can say definitive. I mean, L3 is part of the Falcon now, so she's still around for that. All right, but like Rogue One, you didn't, those characters, they invested only in as far as to tell the story, which I thought was great. And speaking of as like Rogue One, let's take a look at our Vinylmation. Now, I opened up a lot of these, so I'm not. Anybody who watches my channel will probably remember off the top of my head, of their head. I can't remember which ones I have. I know I have a few, but okay, we have the Imperial Death. Wait, no, that's not it. This is a C. It's an Imperial R2 unit. That's what it is. It has a name, it has a number, a designation, but I can't make it out. My sight is not as good as it used to be. So it's got a similar look and feel to BB-9E from Last Jedi, but this obviously came a little bit sooner. So cool. And incidentally, if anyone is interested there, I do from time to time, I do sell off some of my collection. I can tell you that when I sell it off, I generally use that same, I sell it off on eBay, and I use the same money that I make on it. I put right back into the collection and buy something else through eBay usually. So sometimes I do sell things, particularly things I have doubles of. Oh, Space Monkey! Oh my God! Oh, what is his name? I can't remember his name. Oh, Bistan, that's right. No, Bistan. I don't think I have Bistan. I think I might have that one, but I don't have Bistan. Get your... Oh, and he even like holds his blaster really well. I don't remember him having a blaster. He was the guy. He was that monkey thing firing the cannon on the on one of the U-wings. But I love that character, and they showed him a little bit in some of the sizzle reel leading up to the movie. So really, really cool. And again, these were, I think, $1. I think these might have been 50 cents, and these might have been $1. So I mean, you can find some great deals at that thing. Although I will tell you, interestingly enough, it's so funny. I saw a group of people the day I was there. First of all, that place is, if you're going to go to the Disney Character Warehouse, be ready. It is extremely crowded. I mean, unbelievably crowded. Like, I waited in line. I walked around that shop for about 10 minutes, and I waited in line for another 35. So it's just a very slow-moving place, and it's hugely crowded and hugely popular. But I noticed a group of young men that had basically, there was a wall that had, a wall about the size of this wall behind me, and they had a lot of Star Wars stuff. Most of it was stuff that was for sale in, the gift shops in the Disney parks like a year or two prior. And they just proceeded to take almost everything off every shelf and go to the checkout desk, 3 guys each holding like stacks and stacks of Star Wars toys. The same toys, like all the way up. So I would assume that either they were being very generous with lots of nieces and nephews, or they were getting ready to do, maybe they have their own business where they sell the stuff in, garage sales, yard sales, flea markets, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, they bought off a lot of the Star Wars stuff. So when it comes to the actual collectible items, be aware that if you're into trying to find the Star Wars deals, get there early. And I can only imagine the amount of people that were in there, and I was there in the afternoon, but it looked like the place had been not cleaned out, but seriously gone through. Let's just say that. So I can only guess that they stock it, if not every day, they stock it every couple of days, because the amount of people that were there just at one time was incredible. Okay, so, and again, the prices are, impossible to beat. They're just amazing. So, this is just like that's what's in my Disney bag from our recent trip. We will be going back, obviously. I am very excited. People have been asking me and shooting me comments and emails asking me, are you excited for Galaxy's Edge, Black Spire? Oh, another thing is you can see a pretty large model of part of Black Spire, the land, in the Walt Disney Presents area, which is like this little walkthrough exhibit. A lot of Walt Disney memorabilia. And they have, towards the end, some things that they're working on in all the different areas. And they have models of the parks, and this is one of the models. It looks incredible. It looks like something, let me just put it this way. There have been rumors that Disney is going to actually make this area a hard-ticketed extra fee. Maybe temporarily, maybe permanently. I am honestly okay with both, and I'll tll you why. Because I remember going through the Harry Potter areas in Universal and in Orlando, and it was, and I hadn't gone right from the beginning. I went on a school trip I was chaperoning, and it was like a year later, and it was still crazy crowded. And I just feel like this is just going to be intense. And they just opened Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, and that's a really small place, but that place was packed. I mean, just wall-to-wall people. And look, I get it. It's popular. People like it. It's a couple of new attractions there that people want to go on. So it's good. But I think when you get to Star Wars, it's going to be what they're planning on doing. If they even get half of it up and running right away, it's going to be epic. And people are going to want to see it, and there's going to be hundreds and thousands and millions of people that are going to want to go in there, and they're going to need to do something to control the crowds. And I think that I suppose you can do like put in like tickets, and the first come people get in, and everybody else has to wait in line. But I don't know. That's going to be a hard thing to try to police and to do right. I think maybe at least that first summer or that first year, a hard ticketed event might be okay. That's just my thought. I would be willing to pay, is what I'm saying. All right, and then of course, let's forget about when they build a Star Wars themed hotel and a whole interactive experience. It's going to be like a 2-day thing. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy, but we're going to get more into that when it gets closer. So that'll do it for my What's in the Bag episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, let people know about the channel. I'm, every week I get a few new subscribers, which is great. Welcome to our new subscribers, and let people know about it. And I know it's a niche channel. I hope people that are interested in unboxing or in Star Wars unboxings will tune in. So thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba. I have a Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook, and you can email me darthtuba77@gmail.com if you have any questions, or leave a comment and I will be sure to answer it. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.